Sheila, and I took her from this to this. And when she arrived in the surgery, I was like, flipping out, this is going to be really tough. This is a person not wearing dentures and wants dentures and to be able to function with them. And it's just like super scary when someone's been functioning, as in eating, without teeth for quite a long time. And the tongue spread, everything caves in, and a really small mouth too. So I was really a bit concerned. And then also she's had a couple of goes. She brought in some bits and pieces. It's funny, isn't it, how some patients will bring in, old post crowns as well, showing what's going on anyway. We know that stuff has happened, and it looks like potentially that's been a partial, and then maybe some of these have been supporting that lower. So it does, it just says quite a bit. And she's got these dentures here. These are the ones that she could occasionally tolerate. These teeth that she's got in there. So she brought them and she popped them in. She can only wear them just very, very briefly for social situations. She hated them. So let's have a look at Sheila's concerns here. I'm unable to wear any complete dentures because they're sore and loose. I'm embarrassed because I can't wear my dentures and I look like an old woman. Um, I've been told I have a small mouth, and Sheila had found me after reading about my teaching website. She looked at my teaching website, she looked on my YouTube channel and just really done her research, and which was really, this is always really good when a patient's done that. I do like it. So she's in her mid 70s. She's just started taking bisphosphonates, but it's only the past 5 years. Within 5 years, um, these are her wishes. I want to be able to wear dentures comfortably during the day. I want to look better, and I want to enjoy a meal out with my friends. So she lives in England here, quite close to the practice, and also lives in Spain a little bit too. So she sort of mixes those two. She likes to be in the winter in Spain and then in the summer and spring here. Let's have a look in her mouth there. So she could only tolerate these dentures socially, and it was really tight getting in there. Just with the retractors, it was really tricky. Um, and she could only wear them socially. So when I popped them out, this is her. This is a little video of her, and she said, "I've got a tiny mouth." And just watch her here on that video.
And that's it. It's my open wide.
You're actually tight.
Tiny.
Tiny. So quite restricted opening. And then when I'd look inside, super shallow, sulky, very little ridge left, very flat, very shallow sulcus. That just what I'm talking here is I'm worried about getting suction on this. And it even just getting into the mouth is going to be a bit tricky. Everything's tight. Looking inside, this is the lower jaw here. And what I'm worried about here, and I'm really worried, is how much space have we got? How much space is there prosthetically to put something in that area? So I'm immediately thinking, potentially, do we need to do a neutral zone impression here? Is she actually going to be able to wear it? Implants would be a savior here, wouldn't they? If we could use them. So, super limited space, tongue spread, floor of mouth coming up and over the ridge there. Bit tricky. So really flat and shallow. So yeah, I'm worried about this, but she's actually a really nice person, and I could tell at the consult she was just a nice woman. She came in with her brother-in-law, who was a really nice guy called David, who was with her together, and they were lovely and chatty and really warm and friendly, which I love. That's just a great thing, is that. So no coldness at all. It was just lovely warmth. However, she does have short-term memory issues, a little bit dementia creeping in, which can be an issue. But look at this. What sort of a denture is that? With this flange up here like that. And then these teeth set right back on the ridge, way back. And I want to just bring them out. I want to just take out those teeth and bring them forward there and not have this flange like that. It's just such a bad looking denture. The teeth should be further forward to give the patient decent lip support. Looks like there's a couple of post dams on it too. This is another denture as well. It's almost as bad, really teeth right over the ridge. Not very good. This is one of the lower dentures that this is one that she could just about manage. But again, just what I'm looking at here, it's not very well border molded. It's not extended up the retromolar pads at all. And also the lingual surfaces of these lower teeth are in like that. And that creates a real problem. These lingual surfaces just tilting in. Let's have a look at the other denture. You can see it equally on those two. These lingual surfaces, they're tilted in. It acts like an undercut and it wants to push that denture out. The tongue just wants to get under that and go and destabilize it. So if you, for instance, if you're in the practice tomorrow and you're seeing one of your patients with a complete denture the patient says it feels a bit loose, the lower denture, just have a look at these lingual surfaces and maybe just drill them off. So, and take them from that to that, and that can really help with increased stability. It's fantastic. So anyway, I've looked at Sheila here. These were my thoughts here. I just thought she was like really technically massively difficult because of the ridges, the tongue spread, the little tiny opening to get into is going to be really super hard. And also, she's never, and this is really, really important, never been able to wear a set of complete dentures before too. So it's like big deal. So I think the main bit of the consultation to get a really good outcome with these cases is just talking to them. So this is me at the consultation appointment. After I've looked and made a diagnosis, um, I'm talking to Sheila here. This is David, and David is her brother-in-law. So he's married to Sheila's sister. And I just noticed here, I've got on the screen here, I've got this video of someone eating with dentures. It's an X-ray video and it's just amazing. So I'm going to show her this video. Notice also I've got some dentures. I've got an implant supported bridge there. There's also an implant supported denture there too. So I've written down some options for her there too. I'm just talking about those. But this is the video that I show her, and I think this is super, super important. Frauke Muller from Geneva. Um, she gave me this video years ago, and it was made at the Royal London by Roger Watson, and it's a terrific video of someone chewing and eating. Just watch this. The person bites and chews. Look how the dentures move around and bounce around. It really does show amazing neuromuscular control of the denture. So basically, dentures are tools that humans can adapt to. They're just like a prosthetic limb. And this person has managed to learn how to use them. And what I'm trying to do here is to show Sheila that with effort and with learning, training, adaptation, people can learn how to use them too. it's always more difficult when people have gone for having, their brain has been and their learning functions fine with cognitive decline throughout life. Um, Sheila's not going to be able to learn how to use these things as easily. And this is another problem that we, as removable prosthodontists, have, is we're treating patients that are older who need who are needing complete dentures, and their training, their learning how to use these tools does decline with age. So this is me talking to Sheila, and I'm just about to explain to her on this video that it's going to be 70% her learning how to use it and 30% technical, with me and Rowan making some technically excellent dentures, which I think are really important too. But this is my spiel, and hopefully you can hear it. What I'd suggest is maybe just turn up the sound on your iPads or your computers or whatever you're listening to me on just now, because it's me talking. Let's go for it. Yeah.
Yes, please. Yeah. I mean, yeah. It's,
Could I put a figure on it?
Yeah.
Just this is my gut feeling.
Yeah.
It's not really quantifiable, but
mm,
it's 70% your effort
yeah.
with this number one,
Yeah.
30% my technical
mm,
ability. So
Yeah.
it's more your learning
Yeah.
than me.
Yeah.
So that's number one. What are they going to look like? So that's the main thing I'm getting across here, and I think this is super, super important, is the more that I am really honest about their role in these sorts of things, the better the outcome. And it's certainly what's really interesting here is I don't find it puts people off either with having treatments. So that it's 70% Sheila, 30% what we can do as a dentist. So she's got a big role to play in the success. The other wish for her is for them to look good, and we can make them look good. That's not a problem. But the whether she's going to be able to eat and function with them, that's really it's really up to her to work with it rather than against it. So this is like super important, I think, in getting really good outcomes. And this is something where I spend a lot of time on at the consultation doing that. If you've got any questions tonight for anything, just stick it in the Q&A box. Someone said good evening. Mohammed said good evening. So hi, Mohammed in there. That's lovely there. Also, what I do talk about the consultation is I do talk implants and say, look, particularly for you, I just think that it will be successful if we do put two implants in the lower jaw there. It will certainly help big style. I did talk about uppers as well because the upper jaw is so flat too. Anyway, after we discussed everything, I wrote a letter and sent her a plan. But she was really up for just really, a really good set of dentures, Mark 1 complete dentures. And I thought maybe she might need a neutral zone impression for the lower. Um, Also, interestingly, this is another thing that I do offer are spares that are similar. And she did want some spares just because she's so forgetful, which is really interesting too. So, hi, Margaret from Norfolk. Great to hear from you too. Um, so, I do think spares are really, really good there too. Now, in terms of cost, the treatment for the first set of complete dentures was really at the top end for me. It's £15,000 was how much Sheila paid for them, and then the spares are around about 7,000, I think, approximately. So it's really, really expensive treatment, but patients are willing to pay for it for really, really good quality there too. So that's just if you're interested to hear about the costs too. She gets a really extensive treatment plan letter, just discussing the diagnosis, talking about her wishes, what I can address, and what her role is. And then she then signs that if she wants to go ahead. Um, we did that via we do it via DocuSign, this particular thing. So she didn't make a decision at that appointment. She went away. David, her brother-in-law, had written quite a number of notes at the consultation too, which is really useful too. So let's fast forward now to the primary impressions here. So the process of making the dentures actually would be primary impressions, working impressions, also doing the neutral zone impression technique there, and then visit 3, jaw registration with wax rims for prescribing the tooth positions, and also doing the Gothic arch tracer, super important. And then visit 4, do a try-in of the teeth, and then do another try-in if we need to, as many try-ins as necessary. And then the final visit is the fitting. So let's dive in. So I love doing it's an Dr. Abe technique for my primary impressions where I squirt this stuff in a runny alginate into the sulcus, and I've got a lovely thick alginate which goes over the top of that in the tray. This is me there. I like doing this with the patient sitting up in the chair. I don't have them lying back, so it's not going down the throat there. So she's got quite a tight mouth actually, and I did actually miss a bit here of the sulcus. You can see that I've recorded it nicely all the way around here, but this is just a little bit tight, just where the retractors were. I've got these 2 little retractors just to pull that up there. So I think in this case, I would have been better using impression compound just to push that up into that area. So, but it still worked actually really quite nice. Hi, Tyler Darwood. Great to hear from you. So this was the primary impression there. And all Rowan did here was he just deepened the sulcus on the cast there, so I could get a better special tray. Now for the primary lower impression, I love using these frame cuts back trays that Dr. Abe recommends, and they're wonderful for developing the suction denture technique, for producing a lovely uh, study cast, a lovely primary cast on which I can make a great special tray. So Tala said, with the syringe alginate, how would you cast the imp as a tray is unsupported? So we don't have any problems at all with that, with these sorts of things, Tala, but which is really interesting. But if you actually look here, there, if I've got a really thin bit of alginate just there, then what Rowan does is he just puts some wax on it, heats some wax on there, and then drips it on, and it just holds that firm. So any of these floppy bits are absolutely fine. If you're putting it in the post-op toilet, what I would suggest is to do that yourself in the surgery. And so when Rowan was not well, he was off for about 6 months last year, so I didn't have Rowan in the room next door to me. When I was posting my impressions to Sam, I would actually put heated wax in there too. So that's how we get around that. So great question. Unsupported little bits of alginate. So this is my lower primary impression using the Alginoplast squirtable and the thick stuff in the tray. I squirt this around the sulcus. Oops, I'll just go back. Yeah, I squirt this into the sulcus, and then that just fits um, over the ridge. And this recorded a beautiful impression there too. But Tyler, you're absolutely right. This is quite interesting. Um, Hi, Walid from Algeria. Great to hear from you. Hope you're doing well. So, yeah, if these bits here are quite floppy, you've asked this question, putting some wax in there, just dripping it on, just makes it nice and firm, and then it can go in the post, and it's brilliant. No problem at all. So, so that's that done. So let's fast forward now, 2 weeks later, and I get my custom special trays back. And this is my lab work. So these are my custom trays. I also get these primary registration blocks. This is to help mount the working cast so that I can get a Gothic arch tracer, the central bearing apparatus, made. And also, look at this. Can you see this wire here? This is like coat hanger wire, like the old-fashioned coat hanger, which has got metal in the middle and then plastic on the outside there. And this is what I use for the neutral zone, which I learnt from a mentor of mine, John Besford, who learnt this technique from a French dentist called Hubert Aish from Marseille. And it was wonderful. So Ian's asked a little question about green stick compound. Is green compound different from impression compound? Yes, Ian, there's two different types of compound. You've got green and brown. And the brown stuff is different because it's thicker and it melts at a lower temperature and it's more viscous. And I find, Ian, that we used to use that for I use it actually for primary impressions, and I used to use it for complete uppers and lowers before using the syringeable technique. But I still use the brown compound in for doing little saddle areas for partial dentures if I'm doing a primary impression for a partial denture. So Ian, that's for you over in Aarhus in Denmark. Great to hear from you. So this is the primary uppercast just there, and the special tray, and you can see how just delicate and smooth and thin the special tray is. But look at that upper ridge. That is so flat, isn't it? Flat as a pancake and very little sulcus depth completely. So this is the tray. I love these handles being out of the way of the lips to there. That's 3 mm spaced, and I'm going to do an impression in green stick compound and alginate too. I'll show you how I did that just in a sec. So this is it here. Lovely thin tray. Get in the mouth. Let's have a look at the lower. This is a lower custom tray that's made on the primary cast, and it's just exactly like Dr. Abe talks about. And if you're interested in really looking at this, just go into my resources on the website and you'll see the exact approach on how we design it round the retromolar pad. We keep it short of the width of the sulcus, short of the depth, and we just extend it a little bit beyond the mylohyoid too. If you want to really learn how to do this, and if you're really interested, delve into it. It's dead good. So this is a close fitting tray that I'm going to do for the lower, and it's going to be in zinc oxide. There. Look at that. Lovely 3 stub handles, and I can just pick that up really nicely with my hand and do that. So that's for the working impression for the traditional denture, and that's I was going to try this, but also I was going to try this, the neutral zone impression, and Dr. Besford called it the French impression technique, which is like this coat hanger wire, which is shaped up just short of the retromolar pad, just on both sides there. And that can just sit in the mouth, and I'll show you exactly how I use that just in a second. But you can see it's like coat hanger wire. It's quite thick. It's got like a solid piece of metal in the middle with plastic on the outside. So Karim has asked, evening from Manchester, is the initial Karim has asked about these things here, these wax rims here. Is the initial wax rim to have a preliminary VDO? in the second appointment? And do you mark on the cast from the primary impression first so that the extensions of the wax rims are not overextended? So, Karim, yes, what I do is I trim this to the right vertical, but it really importantly, Karim, when we fit it down onto the working cast, Rowan trims away the wax borders, the periphery of these, so that they can then fit down onto the working casts because the extensions are always too big. So it's just cut away and then fitted just to help mount the the working cast to great question. Tola, why was the upper not close fitting? Well, the upper is not close fitting because I'm going to use alginate, and alginate prefers to have, it's more accurate to have some space for the alginate there. If it's too thin, it just gets squashed and the tray pokes all the way through, and it's not very good. So, and I recreate that space, Tala, using green stick compound here and here. So in three sections there. And then, so that's lovely and warm. I take that to the mouth and then it makes these lovely little dents in the mouth there. And then, now this is really important for you guys that really like detail. When I'm working on a very, very flat ridge, I put green stick all the way round here. And actually, I do purposefully make the denture a little bit overextended up here to maximize the suction because I think there's a balance to be had between it having great suction and not moving when the patient does this there. And I find that it's better to have more suction and maybe have it slightly overextended than have it not going to be moved when the patient really extends their lips down. I'm effectively creating a sulcus that really isn't there with this. And I want to have, this is non-perforated, the tray, and I want to get suction on it too. So I want it to have suction at this point without the alginate in, and it go when I take it out there. And Tola has asked me a question. Why do I like alginate over silicone? I love alginate because it is hydrophilic and it loves the moisture of the mouth. And so it goes where I want it to go. Whereas with a silicone, it's a little bit hydrophobic and it's like, oh, I don't want to go there. I don't want to go right behind those tuberosities. However, if you like using silicone toilet, still keep using it. I think the green stick's the most important thing this stage, and then what you use on top of it is not as important. However, it's super crucial to use loads of adhesive there. Lots of adhesive on there, all onto the buccal surfaces too, because the alginate's going to go wrap itself all the way around. And I love a runny alginate. So it's a nice smooth alginate. It's glazed with water. I usually take a little bit off this bit here and actually put it up into the vault of the palate as well, like that too. And then pop it in, push that up and do all of my border molding. So cheeks, pulling, waggle a jaw, open really wide. And then also do some movements here, which I think are really important, which are blowing candles out, pretend it's their birthday. So like that, big grin, like that. And also a yawn is super important too. Any movement that could dislodge the denture, that's what I'm wanting to do. So, and I get a lovely rounded sulcus. It's great. It was good. I did enjoy that actually, to be fair. It was nice. So let's have a look at the lower. So low is close fitting because I'm going to use zinc oxide with this. And so I don't put any green stick on the fitting surface. I just put some on the buccal shelves to start off with, like that. Pop that in the mouth, warm it up. Ooh, ooh, holding it down. Super important, holding it down. And it makes it lovely and thin, the green stick there. So, hi, Rami. Um, Rami's asked a question. When you use injectable heavy PVS over green stick for tray borders, Rami, I don't do that. I don't use heavy PVS for this impression. The the green stick is the heavy material for this. But Rami, I will be showing you the neutral zone impression, which I do use the heavy body PVS just in a second. So I do the buccal shelves first, and then I do the lingual bit second. So that's all the way round on that lingual, and I get the patient to do three movements. So one is licking the upper lip, side to side. The second movement is pushing against this strut here with their tip of the tongue. And then the third movement, I get my nurse to squirt in water into the mouth and then to have a really powerful swallow. Super important, this. Good, powerful swallow. And it helps to form this lingual surface. It's just so lovely. All of this is molded by the patient. It's fantastic. I then put my zinc oxide in, load that in. It goes into the mouth like that. And I don't know why there's a line across the bottom there, but goes into the mouth like that. And then I get the patient to do all of those movements. So it's e, ooh, stick the tongue right out, side to side, push the tongue against the tray handle, and a good powerful swallow. Those five movements recommended by Dr. Abe, and they're brilliant for getting suction, for getting better stability. Brilliant, love it. So here's the lovely impression, molded beautifully. All the polished surfaces all started to get created. And so this helps Rowan with his waxing up. It's just lovely, beautiful. So that's that impression done nicely. So now this is Karen. You've been asking me about this. Karen from Manchester. So what I do is I just pop these blocks in, upper and lower wax blocks. I trim it to approximately the right OVD. It's just really quickly. I cut some grooves in and then squirt in Futar D bite registration material. So I'm just going to fix that together. I'm not too bothered about it being I'm not wanting it to be in CR particularly. I just want to get a closed position so the working cast can be mounted and then we can set up the Gothic arch. So it's very quick, it's 5 minutes, no messing about. So that's it there. And that's approximately the vertical. It does look like I've overclosed her a little bit here, though, Karim, I think, in this. But it's not a problem because I can just open up the Gothic arch next time. No big deal. So that's the primary jaw registration. And this is how it's used, Karim. So we fit it back onto the working cast. And you see here how the border of the rim has been cut away there so that Rowan can actually mount these casts. And then the central bearing apparatus or the Gothic arch tracer can be then set up there like that. So that's how that is done, with these things here. So, but anyway, let's get back to the mouth. I want to show you this neutral zone as well because I want you to test whether this was going to be better using a neutral zone technique versus the traditional impression, the Dr. Abe impression. So I've got this is the wire and just pop it into the mouth like that. And this is where um, I think Rami, you were asking me about PVS, heavy bodied. This is where I use the PVS heavy bodied now, and I'm going to squirt it in. So this is a video of me doing that. So this is heavy bodied. It's a Shotlander product, PVS. I squirt that onto that wire like that. And then I get Sheila to do all the different movements, the E and the oo, licking the lip, pushing the tongue, and also doing the swallow. All of those different things. And then, sorry, this is just her doing the drinking. I just want to show you. So she's got that in now. This is me in the surgery doing that. And she's just having a little drink of water with that PVS in place. So it's super cool, this. And then it comes out like this. So it's not looking very good at the moment, is it? Rami, it's not great just yet, but I just build it up. This is looking from the lingual. I add a bit more onto it. So pop it back in, squirt some more PVS heavy bodied in there. Repeat those movements, particularly the drinking. Gradually build it up there. So it's just does that and add some more onto it like that. And then it even went right across the tongue there. So I just trimmed that off there. And then what I want to do is just to make it look better and just finish it off, just put a light bodied silicone on there, straight to the mouth, and then she can have a little drink there too. So love all these questions, everyone, and it's just a delight having you from all over the world. Mangwesh from India has asked me, hi, good evening. How did you stabilize the wire on the lower ridge? So, Mangwesh, it just sat there quite nicely. And so I didn't actually stabilize it at all. It just sat into the lower ridge is almost like a divot or a groove all the way around. So it wasn't really a ridge anymore. It was like a class 6 divot all the way round. So it just sat in there nicely. That's all. So I didn't have to stabilize it. And then Joey Hossain's asked, how does the wire and PVS stay in place when doing those 5 movements? Does it move about everywhere? It does, it does a little bit, but it's amazing because it just sits in that space really beautifully. And I think what I don't get them to do though, Joey, it's a great question. I think the most important thing is to get them to drink water just like this. Start off with that. And then just a little lick like this. E ooh. And the whole thing just forms beautifully. It's really good. Ian's asked me what's the setting time for the PVS? I think it's around about between 3 and 4 minutes, and we have a stopwatch we just pop on the side. So it's approximately 3 to 4 minutes doing that. But it's brilliant. Look at that there. So that is the neutral zone impression just there. And let's just put them side by side. So I did that and that together there. So of the same mouth. So a little bit different. This is more big, bit wider. We're using more surfaces. It also goes a little bit deeper on these lingual shelves. So, but it was just really nice doing it. So, so this is what goes back to Rowan at the end of the visit. There, that's my working impression. Upper, working impression, lower. neutral zone impression, and then this is my primary dual registration for mounting these together. Now, so what Rowan does is with the neutral zone, he made a matrix. So he pours an impression in the base and then makes these silicone matrices that all fit together, and then he can then make this clear acrylic copy there of that. So it goes from this to that. So shall we now fast forward to visit 3? So just one question by Ellery Turner. Hi, Ellery. Is there a risk of the patient swallowing silicone with this technique? I actually there is. I did have a problem one time, Ellery. It's a really good question. When patients have got a normal esophagus and everything, all the anatomy's fine, this is not a problem. This particular technique. I did try it with a patient who'd had esophageal cancer, and so he didn't really have a proper swallow reflex at the back or protective reflex. So he did get some of the silicone caught down his throat. And embarrassingly, it was when I was running a course at the practice last year, and it really took him some time to cough it back out. So, so that's the only time I've had a problem. But seriously, Ellery, I don't find it an issue when the patient's just got normal swallowing function in the mouth. So, Tola's asked about the name of the wire for the neutral zone. Tola, there isn't, I've just used, it was like old coats hanger wire. So it's just, the really old-fashioned coats hanger wire. So it's not actually available, and we'd have to look into that. So if you're interested, it's really just maybe going to your grandparents' house and finding a really old coats hanger. So sorry, I can't help you with that. Um, let's fast forward to visit 3 now. So this is what Rowan gave me for for the visit 3 here. So I've got a wax rim for carving the tooth positions, and then this lower Manchester block for getting the right vertical. I've also got the neutral zone cast up. We can just check that and see how that is. And also I've got my central bearing apparatus here for doing my centric relation record. So that's what we've got there too. So I love this visit as well. It's really quite creative. I love carving the wax rim. It's just a joy, you know, of just looking at people and working out what we want. Now, Sheila did bring in this smile of her when she had her natural teeth, and she's really class 2, division 2, isn't she, with those retroclined central incisors right back. She's got that small mouth as well, hasn't she? She's still, everything's all like really compressed in. She did not want to look like that. So in these circumstances, what I say to the patient is, please, can you just find out? I want to know what you want to look like. And she really loved this singer. This is an English singer called Kirsty MacColl. Sadly, she died a few years ago. Um, but this is her smile. It's a little bit wonky, actually. And she wanted to copy that, which is really nice. So I carved the wax rim, and I do that according to this really simple recipe. Um, I want to get my lip support right first, and then do the incisal plane parallel to the interpupillary line. And then I carve my occlusal plane parallel to the alar tragus, and then the buccal corridors, and then center line, and get the vertical correct there too. That's my normal recipe, and it's really, really good fun doing it because it's really, you're using a block of wax, taking it out, carving it, putting it back in, looking at the photo of Kirsty MacColl and trying to imagine what um, Sheila's going to look like if she had Kirsty MacColl's teeth. And this is me doing it with Claire. So this is Sheila with the wax block in. and I'm looking at her, and I think importantly, she's sitting upright in the chair. This is what I really like doing, is I like the patient to be sitting up in the chair, and I can then look at them from all different angles. And so I'll go all the way around the patient looking at them, and also Claire will be looking at them too, really importantly. So these are the trimmed rims. So that's the upper rim in there and there. I'm really conscious I don't want to push the teeth out too much, because the lips are really quite strong and want to push them back. And having that photograph of her with her natural teeth, it just shows, how she really did have this modiolus pushing back and the upper lip pushing that back. So I'm quite conscious about that too. Super important there. So Amit Patel, hi Amit. For the end of the talk, I can't get any suction on lower for the life of me. Does the lab have to process the denture differently? And what are the indications, indications for the neutral zone? So, Amit, so you can't get any suction at all on them. Then it's really what I could say really for that is I can really help you if you come on the complete denture course and we can just go through it again and that design. It's all about the design of the special tray. But if you just look up everything there, then that's going to really help. Working with your technician, we could do some mentoring together and just see what we can do. But can I just say one thing, Amit, though, about suction? It really, I'm not bothered if I get it or not. It's not important because the patient can always push their denture out with their tongue. Even if if I get brilliant suction on it, they can always push it out. So they've got to work with it rather than against it. The great thing about this technique is the Abe technique using the E and the U and the design of the tray is the extra stability I get. I mean, that's really, really important. So and the indications for the neutral zone, Amit, very rare. It's if I don't know where the special tray is going to go. That's the indications. If I've got like a lower that I just got no idea about the anatomy, then that's that's when I start to think, I'm going to use the neutral zone. But it's really it's just something that I think a specialist needs to know about. It's really important. So these are the wax rims. This is a really important photo for Rowan. Dead good. Nice, lovely trim wax rims. Then I'll attach a bite fork to the upper rim that's trimmed. Pop that on. This helps with the mounting of the cast. And then I can then move on to my Gothic arch tracer. So this is the central bearing apparatus, and these are made on the working cast. There's got a little pin here, so I can open that up. So what I do is I pop the trimmed rims back onto my mounted casts, and can you see I've opened the vertical up from 5 millimeters. So my primary reg rims, this is back to you. Karen in Manchester, you were asking me about this particular thing, Karen. When I did the OVD with the primer rims, it was over closed. So I've jacked her open 5 mils on that. And then I can then alter the screw height on here. So it's the same height as that. And then I can then do the Gothic arch tracing at the vertical that the proper wax rims are carved to. So I heat that up, pop a China graph wax pencil on here. I take this to the mouth and I get Sheila to move around all over the place. Let's watch her do this. Here, this is my head cam. Sorry, it's a little bit out of focus, but this is me.
Side.
This is me talking to Sheila, so you can hear what I'm saying to her and the instruction.
Side.
Good stuff. That's great. And then what I'd like you to try and do is just to colour it in, so you can just do anywhere. Sort of go round and around, almost like drawing a circle. Yeah. Don't worry if your jaw clicks a bit, it's fine. So she's moving around with these. And by the way, just to remind you, these are made, this central bearing apparatus is made on the working cast. And when I see this working like this in the mouth, and I see that upper staying in place beautifully, that lower sitting down beautifully, and the patient able to articulate like this, it fills me with joy because it's starting to give me confidence it's going to work. I love it. Let's pop it out. Let's see what's going on. That's the lower out. I'll take out the upper that had a bit of suction on it. Pop that out. Look at that. I love it every time I use it. This is centric relation, or in England we call it retruded contact position. In the UK, sorry, in the UK it's retruded contact position. CR, just there, beautiful, love it. So I can then put my disc over the top of that with a hole in right over the apex of this. And it's really, really crucial to get CR in these patients because it helps to balance the bite because everything's so flat. The ridges are so flat, things are going to move everywhere. I just want that bite to be locked in, bombed on there. So Victoria from Cornwall. Hi, Victoria. What is the length for the wax rim and how do you decide this length for each patient? So the wax rim is big. And so generally it's about 14 millimeters further forward than the center of the incisal papilla. This is the wax rim. So we're back to the wax rim carving. So it's further forward and it's also really quite low. So what I want, basically, I want to do is just to trim it back. It's just got to be big, Victoria, as the wax rim. Let's dive back into the jaw edge, though. This is super important. I want to fix it. I want to fix this disc onto the plate there. And I just use wax around that like this. And then feed that back in and then just pop that back in the mouth. I want Sheila to close together so that this goes into that hole there. And this is going to lock it in CR. And then I can then squirt that in like that. So Mangwesh Shektar said, have you ever tried an extra oral tracer? Yes, I have actually. Yeah, I've done that. And it's also a bit like a pantograph too. But I just find that this is really great. It's lovely, Mangwesh, but thanks for that. Tala, how come you don't use silicon impressions inside your Gothic arch tracing the BPS way? Tala, there's a really good reason I don't use silicone impressions inside this. It's because these fit onto my working cast. I've already done the working cast. Whereas with the BPS system, the working cast, the working impression is done in the tray itself that then you then do the Gothic arch on. And I don't like it. I don't like that method because I'm having to do too much at one visit and I get really tired. And my patients get really tired too. So I've just broken it down into an extra visit, Tala, compared to the BPS. So I've squirted that in and I'm going to take it out. So I'm just going to lock
Yeah, that's
in.
fine. Open. Thank you. I'm just going to just see if I can take this out together. Well done.
Look outside.
Brilliant, thank you. Yeah, that's worked perfect.
so that's all locked in beautifully. But did you notice, like, I took it out together, and it's almost like a mouth opening is too small to get it out. So interesting. But look at that. So bombed on in CR. It's fantastic. So that's great. So let's just have a little look. I just want to talk to you about my the comparison between this and my rim. So this is made on the working cast here, according to my Arbe approach, my sort of conventional approach to complete denture, compared to the neutral zone. When I tried both of these in, this was more stable for the patient, and she preferred it. So I ditched this. I abandoned that approach. So we didn't convert that into a complete denture. But if I was going to convert it into a complete denture, I would have done, I would have finished it with teeth, and then I would have done a reline of it and added a little bit of green stick to get a little bit more depth on the lingual sulcus. So I would have relined it and then finished it. So that's great. So Rami has asked, what's the recommended brand name of the Gothic Arch Tracer system? So the one that I use two different ones in the practice. I've got a Swiss one, which is made by Candulor. It's by the Gerber Corporation. You can find that just by searching on the web. So it's Can, Gerber Condulator is number one. And then the other one is the um, BPC Blue Dolphin, PTC, actually. It's called a PTC company made by Blue Dolphin. It's a ball bearing, and that's an American one. And there's quite a few other ones on the market too, and some people make their own. It's not a difficult piece of kit. It's very simple. So this is what Rowan gets. He gets my trimmed rims. This is the Gothic Arch Tracer and then the face bow. The working casts, they're separated from the articulator and remounted. So the mounting plate gets knocked off and then they get remounted. Right, so and then the other really important thing that Rowan gets is this photo. It's Kirsty McCall smiling, and also the trim rim photo of Sheila smiling too. And then Rowan set up the teeth using Kirsty McCall's smile there with that sort of slight cant on the occlusal plane, a little bit more, slightly more crossbitey on this side, darker back teeth, dark canines, lighter anterior teeth. It's lovely. So these are the mounted casts in CI. You can look how flat that maxilla is. You can't even see it, can you? There's nothing going on. So wonderful. So Rowan can now use the carved rims, which are massive, Victoria. They were really big, the wax rims, and I've trimmed them right back there. And then we can then take this to a try-in. And I was getting more, I just felt more confident about her actually as things were going on. Lovely dark canine. This is a wax try-in. It's great. And she liked it. You know, she was just fine. The bite was good. It's great. Nice bit of a smile. Starting to look better. You know, things were looking up. So there she is, flat, flat. Look at that. So we went to finish. She was totally happy with that. We did a video. It was really good. Margaret, hi. Which one would you advocate for if you're a first-time user for the Gothic Arch Tracer? Go for the Gerber Condulator, Margaret. Um, yeah, the Gerber one's great. So beautiful setup. These are Shotlander Enigma Life teeth with colour tones looking good. So, nice pink, very light pink. This is the attached gingiva, a little bit of non-attached gingiva with veining fibres, just subtly done, beautiful. Not particularly heavy. This is my post dam. Very, very important. I've carved a post dam on this. So the denture's got like a lip on the inside that forms that suction. It's just like critical to it having decent suction in there too. And beautiful. Very, very thin, isn't it? Not much sulcus depth. Lovely. There, lovely post dam on there too. This is my lower, got the lower extended fully right up to the land area, where exactly where my the impression material was. Beautiful. Also, just look here how Rowan's just made these, they're not level, the teeth, just broken them up a little bit so they just look more natural. And then also, really importantly, no undercut on these teeth because the tongue can really get underneath that and push them up. But this is the shape that I'm looking for. Amit, you were talking about suction on lowers. It's got to have this shape to start off with. But truly, the suction is not the major deal. It's the extra stability we get with them too. It's great. Totally love it. There you can really see there's just no undercut on them. The teeth are set slightly outside the ridge as well, just to give the tongue more space. Very, very important. No undercuts here, there, and there. Seriously, tomorrow or next week, you've got a complete denture case. Just trim away these lingual surfaces, so there's no undercut there too. And just a bit of air through there. It's lovely, isn't it? Just great. Work beautifully, these things. Nice bit of recession. Good. Let's go for it. So these are the finished ones. We made two sets. So, in one set had these blue dots incorporated into the acrylic so that Sheila knows which one's which, the blue dot. So one doesn't have a blue dot, the other one does. I'm just looking at the Margaret said, please, if you could kindly show the post-dam lip shape on the top. Margaret, I will actually, because I'll show you that in detail just later because it actually was a bit sore. So I had to adjust it. I want to share that with you. So hopefully you'll get an idea of the shape. That's a blue dot, there. We've got Mark 1, Mark 2. Interestingly, Mark 1 upper, Mark 2 upper, exactly the same size, even though these are still handmade. They're, waxed and flasked and packed. So visit 5, fit here. Bite was just lovely, beautiful. So we took it from this to this. So can you see how I've lifted those upper teeth? They're just so massive. This one's so massive from the top to the bottom. Just need to go up, up and out. Bring them more labial. This is the shape I'm looking for. This is what I really want to imprint on your minds is that it's just like someone's had a maxillectomy, but a reverse maxillectomy and the teeth have just been put back like they were naturally. This is the right shape and how they would be normally. Beautiful. You can see these undercuts there, and these are no undercuts on that denture. And the tongue just sits in this shape, holds it together. It's beautiful. There. And nice little bits of wear, bits of character. It just makes them look better too. And she's still class 2, div 2. It's fine. That's the suction I got on there too. Chris, has asked a question here. How do you make the spare set exactly the same as the main set? Do the lab copy it somehow? Yeah, Chris, they do. They do copy it. So Rowan makes some indices of the original set. We've still got the working cast, so we've got silicone indexes, and then he's got to make the teeth fit to them. With printing now and coming in the future, it would be easy to do that. It's easier just to scan them and reprint. However, the printed ones just don't look as good at the moment at all. So, at fit as well, I just wanted to make sure it just wasn't hurting, and it didn't hurt at all. But I just wanted to see the pressure, and it's pretty even actually. That's just a silicone fit check. It was quite even. So I didn't actually make any adjustments at the fit appointment. Um, but I just want to draw your attention to the caved in appearance here. Look there before we started, and this is where we position the teeth. You know, she looks miles better. She's all she is quite class 2 div 2, and I've just kept that because I know it's just not, if we bring them too far forward they're not going to be great. But she was just a joy, and she really took it on. You know, she really did, you know, take it on and did it really, really well. So, Margaret, I'm thinking about you and your post stamp just in a minute. So, I'll show you that just now. But this is Margaret at the review appointment, just chatting away. Sorry, this is Sheila at the review appointment, chatting away. And she's not talking about a denture. She came in and just, she was a, you know, you have some patients that are absolute talkers. She was a talker. It was really hard to actually get on with the treatment. She was so lovely, though. As a person, it was just a joy. So it really wasn't a problem. I didn't mind that. And I didn't find it frustrating at all. I promise. But here she is chatting away.
Here, like in a welcome guide, what you expect them to do, and it can't be do gardening or go shopping.
No, they just have these pets, aren't they, really? Yeah.
And then people get to the place and find they want you to clean the swimming pool, which was really
So she was just chatting about stuff, but it was amazing. She's not using fixative, and she can eat, and she's just doing great. She popped them out, and they were a little bit sore in some places. So, and this is her just chatting to me about that. So here she's telling me where it's sore.
think it's here,
Yeah.
and I think a little bit.
Yeah.
Only because it feels like, you know that feeling is, it just feels different.
Yeah.
But not, it's not hurting.
So I had a little look, and this is for you, Margaret. Now you're talking about the post dam. Can you see just up there? This is on the right hand side. It was digging in and just a bit sore. And sometimes I do have a tendency, I can just take it a little bit too far back so that when the patient's swallowing, it actually does scratch the back of the denture there. So what I did, you can actually, yeah, this is my little video of me doing it, looking at it. But interestingly, this is the shape of the post down, Margaret. So it comes right the way across the back here. And can you see the faint line here? It's like a Cupid's bow there. So it's deep across the back edge and it goes forward. Now, I'd taken it too far back there, Margaret. So I want to just take it further forward. So I'm just using my pencil just to mark on that, just to bring it a little bit further forward, particularly on this side where it was sore. And you can see the denture goes all the way back there. So what I'm going to do is just, this is how I do it. I get a Sharpie. This is me just in the lab. And I'm just going to mark on where I want to trim it back. But really, really importantly, I'm not going to cut away from the fitting surface. I'm going to grind it back from the back of the denture. So I'm not going to affect that suction. So watch me do this. See, it's cutting into the back of the denture there like that and shortening it that way. So that's going to help. And then I just need to chamfer those areas that I've just taken back, because it leaves quite a thick edge at the back, and I just want to thin it down. And if I'll turn it to look there, I want it nice and thin along that back edge there, so it's not sort of catchy with the tongue. And then I want to polish it, and then I use, and what because I do a lot of prosthetics and I've got a little lab next door, I use pumice as well. Go and use my pumice, a bit like back at dental school. I'm just going to polish that up. It's really good. And then I've got a polishing lathe. I can just pop it on that too and get it nice and buffed up. So the that's great. So there, can you see here what I've done? So Margaret, you said it's like seeing SB with artificial legs, right? It is. Yeah. So the and so this is what I've done here. Can you see I've just shortened that post arm there, but I've not reduced the depth of it. It's still fitting that cast. It's still pressing into the soft tissue. So that's number one. Then secondly, she also mentioned that it was a bit sore here. Can you see it's red there? This is my video. So where it was red, and this is the canine eminence, so sometimes it's like that too. So I'm going to dry it off just there. And I use pressure indicator paste on a ball-ended burnisher. So it's PIP. I'll just apply that. And then get my complete denture, pop it in, and then press it in place. And then take it out. And then I just need to grind that bit off, because that's the part that's been just digging in a little bit. And I will finish it with a rubber polishing burr just on the top of it. So, and she was a total joy. I've seen her for 2 reviews, and it's just gone perfectly. So interestingly, I thought she was going to be like, it was going to be a nightmare. So she was amazing. She put the effort in. She was a great patient. And the lesson that I learned from treating Sheila is, and this is something that I just learn just all of the time. If I get on really well with a patient and I really like them, then the treatment goes much better, even if the technical stuff might not be quite perfect. But if I don't click with the patient, and this is really important, if I don't click with them, then it's actually really, really quite hard. And I think that with removable pros, that relationship with the patient is like supremely important for it to work really well, that trust. She brought in this lovely card, muchas gracias, and thank you. It's wonderful to have new teeth, which is really great. So that's lovely. Thanks so much for listening, everyone, tonight. And I've just finished last week. We finished our last course of the year, and we actually had 5 people who came from Cornwall and Devon, which is really fantastic, and also Kafil from Liverpool. And this was us. This is the partial denture course, which is just such good fun. We have a real laugh, and it's great. And we can bring a patient. I bring a patient in, and it's just great. So, and everyone can watch me treating the patients. You can see everything, and I film it through a video here, so it's all on the screen too. And there's hands-on stuff as well. You can have a go at things. So these are the courses that I'm running at the practice next year. It's a complete dentures, and I run that twice a year. Partial dentures are run twice a year. implants over dentures once a year, immediate dentures once a year. And then other people have been on my courses. I think, Amit, you may have been on my complete denture course ages ago. This may be a good one for you to come on to talk about the suction thing, and we can really drill into it. You could even bring your technician with you on that day. It'd be fantastic. Two, Victoria has asked about how do you adapt all this great work to the new scanner technology? Well, Victoria, I haven't actually adapted it because really, really importantly, Victoria, impression with removable pros, I need to record the sulcus for people, and recording the sulcus it's not possible with a scanner. So the making of the denture, once we've got the working casts, that could be go and go digital, but I find that the best quality dentures that I can make for the patient are handmade still. So, so I'm sorry about that, Victoria. Um, I've got various speaking engagements coming up. I'm actually really looking forward to this. I'm in the Netherlands. I'm in Amsterdam next week, speaking with some other British speakers here, and I'm super excited about that. That's on Friday next week. I'm in America twice. I'm in America in January, and then I'm doing a big full day with Rowan in Texas. So if there's any Americans, Canadians, anyone from that side of the world, Mexicans, Americas, South America, come along. It'd be fantastic because you can meet me and I'll be talking all day. But also, importantly, you can meet Rowan and he can show you some of his lab work too. He's going to take some over there too. And then the other two things I'm doing for Shortlander this year, I'm doing two separate days, London and Birmingham. I'm going to be talking about my disasters cases. So it's just going to be full of failures and how I got out of them too. So it's really, really good there as well. And I'm doing something for the Smile Academy too. I do that twice a year, Manchester and London. And I'm up in Edinburgh in September too for the ICD there. That's great. So, and if any of you have done my courses and you do fancy some mentoring one-on-one, we can do this via Zoom. We can do it from anywhere in the world. This works really well, and I love it helping you improve things. So this has been recorded. I'll record this and pop it straight onto my YouTube channel later this evening. And thank you, all of you, for joining. It's just been a joy. You've been great. We've had loads of people online. Have a great evening. Have a lovely rest of the year. See you again in the new year. And bye for now. Bye bye. Thank you. Bye.